Hey guys, this is Cruz Roy with the UpAir 1. Everybody's been talking about the lipo batteries. Every time you charge this battery, it's a 5400 milliamp and it's a 3-cell, so every time you charge it, you're getting less time out of it. And the theory is if you could actually balance charge this properly with a proper charger, that you would actually get a better flight time out of it. So people have been taking them apart. I gotta say that I did remove the tabs already on mine, and I'm gonna take it off right now. I mean, there's the button, and I can take mine off, and they're little tabs, and if you notice very closely, you'll notice that there's glue. So some of these are glued, and some might be glued a lot better than mine, that way they won't come off, or you know, you might just break it taking it apart. I don't think they really want you taking them apart, but we're taking it apart for science, and we want to see if there's any way of balance leading this. Alright, when you take the lid off on mine, I've seen different ones. This actually looks different than the pictures I've seen. It's got some silicone here holding the screws. We're just going to take these 4 screws out. Let me take the 4 screws out. They're just a Phillips head. They're not security screws or anything. They're just a regular Phillips head screw. Loosen them up. The silicone, I don't know what that's for, but I noticed they dabbied the screws with silicone, probably trying to scare you away from, you know, using them at all. When you loosen the 4 screws, you're going to notice it kind of jumps up a little bit because there's wires under here, so don't just pull on it. So let me just dump the screws out. Alright, there's my battery cover. 1, 2, 3, and there's one more. There's the 4th screw. Also, when this opens up, there's these little clear bushings. The clear bushings are between the 2 motherboards, that we'll call them, or 2 circuit boards or 2 PC boards. All you got to do is, once you have the screws out, just push up on the body. And of course, you just saw me, I just lost all the little, I'll get them later, but they actually go over these little sleeves. But they're just a clear tubing, not a big deal. I'll find them later, they're on the floor. But they're to space the 2 PCB boards apart, because they'll kind of sit like this in the battery. Now people have been asking, can we add a balance lead to this battery, or can we just come out with a regular 2-wire so we can charge it with a lipo charger under PB status? People are looking at this 4-pin wire here. It's not the right balance lead, but there's 4 leads, so possibly this could be the balance lead. It's just weird the way they solder them all together. There's like 3, if you look at the battery packs, there's not 3 cells. There's actually 6 cells. So you're like, why is there 6 cells if this is only 11.1 volts? So it should be only 3 cells. What they did is paralleled up the battery packs to fit them into the UpAir. So there's 6 cells, but technically there's only 3. And it's the way they're soldered on the board. So technically I know how to add balance leads to this board, but the way they have it soldered, you're supposed to crisscross between positive, negative on each cell, and they just got it soldered where they have all the positives soldered together and all the negatives, so you wonder how it works. I mean, I got a full charge battery here, and you wonder how it works. And then you have your positive and negative. If you remember how this board is lined up, where it plugs into the UpAir. They're both black wires, of course. They're not really red and black. But what I noticed is, even in China, they know this balance stands for B. And while looking at this board, which is probably totally different than yours, there is 4 extra silver dots here. You got 1, 2, and then there's 2 under the silicone here. Let me see if I can get something to point at it. But under the silver silicone, there's a couple other B's here. So it's B negative, B1, B2, B3. So those are actually, on this unit, the balance leads. And if you look underneath, this connector is technically the balance lead that leads to the circuit board. And if you look at the circuit design, you can kind of see where they're going. So what I noticed is we need to test these circuits. Let me get a magnifying glass. I don't know if you can see it better, but there are some silver dots there. One's a B negative, and then there's a B1, B2, B3, because it's a 3-cell, that they actually marked them. They're not using them. The silver dots have no wires going to them or anything, but they are there. So what we're going to do is we're just going to place it here. I'm going to turn my voltage meter onto, you got direct current or alternating current. So batteries and any type of lipos are direct current. And I'm going to try to do this so you can see the voltage on each cell. And we'll go from there, but hopefully you can see this. Let me zoom in a little bit. Let me just zoom in. Hopefully you can see the numbers. All right. On this battery here, we have a B negative is right there. All right. So I'm going to hit the first cell. It's showing me it's 416. And then the second cell is hiding under the silicone. We had 416, $832, yep, let me get that. Hard to hold this and do the camera at the same time. So 832, 416, 832. And then the final stage is 1249. So if I had a piece of paper to show you, it seems like the balancing is a little off on that. So if there was a way of doing this and putting a balance lead on it and actually making it balanced and letting it recharge, it would be a good idea. And I'm thinking in the future that I will tie on to these little B dots, I will tie on a balance lead, so at least I can test it, and then I can balance it with a manual balancer and then put it back on the UpAir charger to get it completely balanced. But let's do that again. I'm going to go B negative. B negative on the first cell. We got 416. And then the second cell. Sorry, I can't hold it. .832, so 416, 832, that's pretty good. And then you got 1249. All right, that's on the third cell. So those are the balance leads. They're all over the board. There's 2 silvers here, and then there's 2 over here, and if you flip it, they're all in line. So I think typically these are the balance leads. They're just on the PCB board, so they give you a spot to add a balance lead, and I think I'm going to do that in the future so we can get a good balance out of this. But this is Cruiseroy with the UpAir 1 lipo, the 5400 lipo, taking it apart and trying to find balance lead ports on it, and I'm out of here.